All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Greater Miami Expressway Agency August 2025 board meeting. I would like to call our meeting to order at 9 a.m. I ask board member Pages to lead us in Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Corporate Board Secretary, if you can conduct our
Yes, good morning.
board members.
Board
Roll
Member
call.
Blanco is absent this morning. Board Member Iglesias. Board Member Peterman. Board Member Rigo.
Present. Present.
Treasurer Cancio.
Present.
Vice Chair Pages.
Present.
Chair Perez.
Present. Yeah, Blanco. Okay. At this point, I would like to set the agenda. The agenda has been distributed to all board members. Are there any requested corrections or additions to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to move that we table item B on the regular agenda. My feeling here is, as a board, we've never taken up the issue of the Kendall Parkway. We haven't looked at it, we haven't discussed it, we haven't done it in-depth. So I don't have an issue with doing an environmental study. I have an issue with the timing of the environmental study. I think the board has to first come around to it, understand it, and take a position on it before we continue to spend any more public funds on any more studies or anything else until, as a board, again, and we're still missing 2 additional board members. So that's why I would like to table it for a couple of months, set some workshops in the process, and then come back and have a preliminary position on that project, and then proceed with anything else we're going to do on that project.
I'll second the motion.
Any final discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. So item B is now, on today's agenda, is now tabled for a future date. All right, next we have declaration of voting conflicts. Board members, at this time, please advise if you have any conflicts based on the items on the consent agenda or regular agenda. Okay, let's move to our public comment period. But before we do that, I want to make sure and remind all interested parties that the Greater Miami Expressway Agency has a lobbyist registration policy in accordance with applicable law and with our commitment to transparency and ethical governance. All individuals, firms, or entities who engage in lobbying activities with GMX, whether in person, virtually, or in writing, must be properly registered prior to initiating any lobbying contact. This includes any communication intended to influence a decision of the board, management, or staff on matters such as procurement, contracts, legislation, or policy. And you may review the full policy, registration requirements, and forms on our website, or you can email us at info@gmx-way.com. We really appreciate your cooperation in helping us uphold the high standards of integrity and accountability in all interactions with us. Now let's proceed to public comment. If any member of the public wishes to address the board, you will be given 3 minutes to speak. I will now recognize our interim executive director to identify those members of the public who signed up to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe that we have one person who is registered for public comment this morning. Mr. Weston.
Good morning, Mr.
Morning.
Weston. If you could say your name and your address.
Sure. I'm David
you.
C. Weston, 10411 Southwest 123rd Street in Miami, a resident here since 1968. I'm actually here to get your support, and I'll give you some background quickly. But first, you must know I'm an engineer. I'm licensed in over 20 states. I travel a good deal. And part of that travel takes me past turnpike message boards. I've driven over 1,500,000 miles in my lifetime. I'm older than I look. So you know me. Everyone here knows me if you use the GMX, because many of the messages that you see on the GMX board are mine. I started about 6 years ago with the support of then Commissioner Cava and now Mayor Cava with Juan Toledo. It took me 2 years to get, when changing lanes, use turn signals. And it took me 3 years to get schools out, watch for children. And it showed me that the GMX board had lots of time when it was blank that we could put driver improvement messages. What do I know about driver improvement? I've caused no accidents in 1,500,000 miles wherever here in Dade County. So I consider myself an expert on good driving practices. So I wanted our message boards to have good driving messages. Now, Juan reluctantly took many of my messages, and then once the GMX was established, I was channeled over to the Holt Communications program, and I was making suggestions. Now that stopped, and that's why I'm here today, because I've made what I think are good suggestions, and I gave you a copy of the Mr. Grice email to me. It's highlighted in yellow, and it's a little bit sharp to my ear. They only want to use official DOT messages, and these are crafted up in Tallahassee. They don't have the torrential rains that we have. They don't have the high heat that we have. Anyway, so I think we need softer messages that encourage good driving practices. And you see the ones that I had suggested in January that haven't been acted on. You know, I see people on the GMX at the side of the road changing their tire, and they put on the mini tire, and guess what? It's flat because they never checked the tire pressure. So these are the 20-plus messages. There's something on the back that I have suggested that the GMX staff and the whole communications staff have resisted. And these are common sense good driving. Lower temperature lowers tire pressure. Some people don't know that. Check spare tire pressure before you need it. Check windshield wipers. Now, Mrs. Holt, to her credit, said, well, how do you check the windshield wipers? I said, you lift it up, you run your finger over the blade, and if there's black on your finger, it needs replacement. Well, we have that on our website. We need to have good driver improvement messages on the GMX signs. Do not pass stopped school buses. And I've had that resisted because, well, there's no stopped school buses on the GMX. It's still a good driver improvement message. When we have blank time, let's help our drivers improve. And what you could do for me with Mr. Grice, with Mrs. Holt, is tell them, these are good messages. Stop obstructing Mr. Westa. Does anybody have any questions? Can I have your support?
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Weston.
Thank you. Any questions? No questions?
I'm sure they'll ask you if they had one. Thank you. Next, we have approval of the meeting minutes from our prior meeting in June. More board members, you've had the opportunity to review the minutes. Is there any discussion or is there a motion for approval of the meeting minutes?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any final discussion? All in favor of the approval of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Say nay. Motion passes. All right, we'll now move on to item 7, consent agenda. Jason Gonzalez, GMX General Counsel, shall read the consent agenda items on the record.
And I'll ask our executive director, was item A in the consent agenda anyway related to what we have tabled for today? I just want to make sure I exclude that. That's separate, isn't it?
It's separate, yes.
Okay. The consent agenda includes, first, the GMX work program number 83618-001, this SR 836 Southwest Extension, Kendall Parkway. This is approval of resolution number 2510, accepting title to real property previously acquired by the Miami-Dade County Expressway Authority for project 83618. And then the second item on the consent agenda is GMX work program number 83628-000. SR 836, operational capacity and interchange improvements, and that's the approval of resolution number 25-11, accepting title to real property previously acquired by the Miami-Dade County Expressway Authority for Project 836-28. And finally, GMX Work Program number 87404, SR 874, the Killian Parkway interchange. And this is approval of resolution number 25-12, accepting title to real property previously acquired by the Miami-Dade County Expressway Authority for project number 87404. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any final discussion? All in favor of approval of the motion, say yay.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. We will now proceed to the regular agenda. Sorry.
Madam Chair, there are two more items on the consent agenda that were not read due to the
Oh,
record.
I apologize. That's right. D&E.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez,
I am sorry.
all good.
We also have approval of the amended investment policy and approval of amended GMX Resolution 0210-2025, removal of restriction of interim executive director's eligibility for permanent appointment. If we could add those to the consent agenda motion for approval.
Move the consent agenda.
Are there any, okay, so do I have a second?
Second.
Any final discussions? All in favor, say yay.
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, say nay. Motion passes. All right, so we're back to the regular agenda. Interim Executive Director Garcia, introduce item A, today's regular agenda, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The first item on our regular agenda today is the board's approval of a contract award to the lowest bidder, CSA Inc., in connection with GMX procurement contract number ITB 25-01 for a system-wide dynamic message sign catwalk replacement. The bid amount is $854,953. And by way of background, on May 5th, 2025, GMX released an invitation to bid, seeking bids from qualified contractors for a system-wide dynamic message sign catwalk replacement program. And I will ask our COO, Claudio Diaferia, to elaborate. Mr. Diaferia.
Good morning, board members. So this is a very important project for us. This is the replacement of the catwalk system. So this is basically the platform that our internal GMX folks utilize to get to the DMSs to either replace them or service them. The ones that are currently in place have been installed throughout the years, and they follow either 2010 standards, and the newest one follows 2015. This would bring up all the catwalks on our system to the latest standards, which are much safer and allow the workers to hook on to the platform and also have a much wider platform. And they also serve just in case something falls or a tool falls, they don't fall into live traffic, which is a challenge currently. So there was 3 bidders. We were very happy about the selection process. The lowest bidder, we did get response from them that they are willing to do the work exactly for what the bid is. And the bid is about 15% below the engineer's estimate. And the second place was only $1,000 above the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. So we think it's a good bid. So we would recommend to move forward.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item?
I move to approve.
Any seconds?
Second.
Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Item B has been tabled for a future date. So let's move on to item C. I ask again, Interim Executive Director to introduce item C in our regular agenda. Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item C relates to financial advisory services related with GMX procurement number RFP 25-06. That is to say, the approval of the Technical Evaluation Committee's recommendation to select the highest ranked proposer, PFM Financial Advisors, LLC. On June 19th, 2025, GMX released an RFP seeking proposals from qualified consultants for financial advisory services. The selected firm would be responsible for providing a variety of financial advisory services to the agency, and I would ask our CFO, Sandra Bridgman, to further address this item on our agenda.
Madam Chair and board members, we were lucky. We went out there and reached out to 300 FA advisory services companies, and we only had two that actually put proposals. They were very, very good proposals. And we went through the selection criteria, and PFM, the new FA, as opposed to the incumbent, came front just because they had tons of experience in the tolling industry. Hilltops has been around for a very long time and has had a lot of experience. But we felt that PFM, with connections with CFX and TIA so close to us, and their ability to provide resources that we really need in order to be out in the market. We've been away from the market for a long time, and we feel that we need the push to go through and get what we need to get done, and within the master plans that GMX has put through. So we're very satisfied with three of us independently came up to a scoring very close actually, and put PFM as the firm that we need to have, if you would allow us to do that.
Thank you, Madam CFO. Are there any questions on the item? Is there a motion to approve the item?
I just looked at my comment.
Go ahead.
We can move it and then I can come.
Is there-
I'll move the item.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any final
Yeah,
discussions? Board-
I'm actually very pleased. That's a great firm. They're a local firm in many regards. I think that's always an important part. They understand Florida. They understand the process. The only thing I ask is that we negotiate with them on the proper fees. I used to be a financial advisor, so I know how this works. So we go back and we properly negotiate and come up with a rate that makes sense. We're happy with them. We're thrilled that we have them, but let's make sure it's at the right price.
Thank you, sir.
Right,
We should
thank you.
certainly will.
Okay, so all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. That's the end of our regular agenda, so I'll recognize Mr. Garcia again to present the interim executive director report.
Thank you once again, Madam Chair. Once again, I'm pleased to report that GMX continues to run smoothly. All of our core functions are performing well without interruptions, and that's a key to meeting our strategic goal of providing safe, dependable, and efficient mobility for the communities that we serve in South Florida. Our GMX team is actively keeping an eye on traffic flow, roadway safety, incident response times, and the overall efficiency of the system. Preventive maintenance is still a top priority for us, and we're using technology to monitor our roadways in real time so we can address issues before they become major concerns. This kind of consistent performance improves the experience for the traveling public, and it also strengthens the agency's reputation with our stakeholders, bond rating agencies, and regional partners. Looking ahead, we will continue to use data to guide our decisions and keep improving the way that we operate. That approach will make sure that our system is ready to meet today's needs and demands for the future. In short, we remain focused on our mission to deliver world-class expressway services that enhance mobility, safety, and economic vitality for Greater Miami. By way of updates, I just want to advise the board that I want to follow up on a couple of items from the last board meeting. One of the items was the $8.2 million reimbursement from Miami-Dade County. I'm happy to report that money has been paid, and we just received it a couple of days ago. So
Is it deposited?
it's deposited. Yes, Madam Chair.
Is the check clear?
And clear.
More importantly.
And cleared.
Okay,
Apparently, it's cleared. So good news there.
thanks.
So that leaves obviously this, two other items. There's the $5 million, as the board is aware. That's going to be connected with the sale of excess parcels to the Miami-Dade Aviation Department. And then there's the $3 million item,
Yes.
which is still in process.
Yes, that one's gonna be tied to the 83611 project. So we'll be negotiating that in coming months. So I should expect resolution this fiscal year.
Excuse me, I'd also like to report that as far as vacancies, the agency has hired a new chief engineer, and who is here today. So I'd like if you Mr. Stand up, Andres Bericiartu. will be joining us next week. He used to work, oh, still works, I think, as of today, in FDOT District 6 with Secretary Iglesias, but we stole him away.
I have no comment.
Welcome.
So exciting news there. And Mr. Bericiato will be reporting to our COO, Claudio Diaferia. I'm also happy to report that, our MRP scores, this has been an issue of discussion and since I've joined, certainly as interim, and our MRP scores, I'm happy to report, came out as a 93 score. And I don't know if Claudia would like to comment a little bit about that. I think it's exciting news for us.
Yeah, so I'm very proud of our team. To be quite honest, we've made strides, tremendous strides in the last 6 months. We went from an 83, we jumped 10 points, which is tremendous. It's probably one of the highest scores we've received as an agency in at least since I've been here. So at least for the past 10 years, that's the highest we've ever seen it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it was definitely a team effort. The EAC team has really stepped it up, and our internal folks as well. Our new hire, our new maintenance manager has really kind of changed some things. We've put some initiatives in place and some proper training, which has really helped. And so we're very happy and proud of it because that's something that we report to the FTC, and we'll be reporting that next week, Rafael and I. So I'm very proud of the team about that because it really shows that the model that we had selected, right, there was a lot of doubt when we went away from the asset maintenance structure to the individualized maintenance contracts. But we always thought that it was ultimately going to give us more control and better results, and so here we are. It definitely requires more effort because now you're managing 15 contracts instead of just one, but we definitely have improved in all areas of it. The other thing is that we're changing the way we do a little bit of the maintenance programming, so we're going to be very consistent about milling and resurfacing and RRR projects. That way we never fall behind the 8 ball again. We did in the past couple of years more than anything because of litigation and contracts. But moving forward, we're going to ensure that we never go below 90 again by ensuring certain things that we've already put in place. And the other thing I want to say is, even though we don't get measured through MRP in terms of our tolling system, I do want to commend also Wadi and his team. They do a tremendous job out in the field maintaining our tolling equipment, both on the lane side and Danny on the back side of it. I will tell you that while you don't hear about it, there's definitely things that happen, but they're incredibly responsive and they do really good job about preventative maintenance. So we never go down because ultimately that is our bread and butter and that is our revenue collection. So kudos to both the toll maintenance team, ITS, IT, and maintenance, general maintenance.
And Claudia, if I may, Chair, while you're there, Claudia, could you want to give us an update on Miami Freedom Park and traffic study and things related?
Before we move on to that, I've got one question, if I may, about the MRP score.
Board Member Peterman.
Litter is part of that score, right? Litter and the maintenance and the mowing of the lawns and everything along those expressways, right?
Yes, sir. There's a slew of categories. It goes from litter, pickup, mowing, guardrail, RPMs, lighting, etc. It goes through the whole gamut of categories in the roadway.
And do we have a separate independent contract just for litter control, or is it the landscapers that once they go out there to mow, they pick up litter?
We have an aesthetics contract that handles both the mowing and the litter pickup. And the reason we did that, we used to have two separate contracts. But what ends up happening is usually the demarcation point is behind the guardrail where the grass starts. And if there's trash right up against the guardrail, they usually just toss it over. And then the mowers come, and then a bag of chips becomes 10 bags of chips when you mow through it. So there was always that battle back and forth. So we thought it was much better to combine them. That way it's one effort. Usually what happens, the litter pickup crew will come right before the mowing crew. That way we don't shred any trash. So right now it's one aesthetics contract that really is in charge of 4 major components. There's the sweeping of the system. There is the mowing of the system. There's the litter pickup of the system. So it's the general aesthetics.
And what's the frequency? And does the frequency of that mowing / litter pickup change throughout the year depending on rain?
Yes. So the way we set up the contract, we have accelerated mowing cycles. So depending on the time of year, we'll accelerate the mowing. We'll do more twice a month or once a month, depending on the time of season. And for sweeping, depending on the roadway. Obviously, the heavier roadways like 836 gets swept currently twice a week. Other roadways get swept once a week.
Okay. I mean, to me, I just want to emphasize that that's very important for me. I think it's what separates a high-quality community from other communities. Just the aesthetics. You go to other cities, you drive around their roads, and, you could see that it's different from being in South Florida, in Miami-Dade County. And I'd love for us to make sure that we continue that effort, and I congratulate the entire team for that improvement in the score. And to me, that's a very important thing.
Agreed. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, we know we're held to a different standard, and to the public, I think that's one of the things that we've always had as a strong suit is the fact that our roadways do look nice and clean and primed. As a follow-up, we recently did a full overhaul of our aesthetics manual. So the look and feel of our roadway, we've been talking about this for quite some time. In this fiscal year and the next, we're going to start seeing projects that are painting. So not just the picking up of trash and mowing, but you're going to start seeing painting of the system, and then all the system. The idea is to make it look uniform. So whatever roadway you're on, whether you're on 836 or 112, wherever you're on, it's going to look and feel the same way. That way people subconsciously or consciously know when they're on the GMX system and when they're not. Branding, correct.
Are you done? Or I just want to make.
Yeah, I just wanted to give Claudia an opportunity to give the board a quick update on Miami Freedom Park.
So first, I want to thank Secretary Iglesias. I think the department has taken a lead role in helping, through their consultant, helping the MFP team kind of get to where we need to go. I think right now we're in lockstep with FDOT and the county regarding providing comments. We're making sure that we're providing comments. We're at a point where we do have a model now that's calibrated. So now it's about analyzing the solutions, right? So actually inputting traffic, making sure that it reflects current conditions, and then seeing where the pinch points are. So we're going through that process now. Our team has done a good job of providing comments in a timely fashion. So now we're continuing that process. Regarding the pedestrian bridge, Rafael and I have a meeting on Friday to discuss the pedestrian bridge. We really haven't seen any sort of rendings or anything. The only thing that's happened so far is there's been surveyors in our parking lot surveying where it could potentially go, but there's some requirements that Rafa and I are going to be giving in terms of if it can move forward, and we will bring it back to the board for a decision, obviously, and for evaluation once we get whatever we're going to get on Friday.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Board member
Yes.
Cancio, you're recognized.
I'm very concerned about the issue of traffic and how it will affect the 836 exit. Part of those traffic studies, do they analyze that impact it's going to have on our system?
Yes, absolutely. So that's the analysis that's going now, right? So we haven't been able to do the full engineering because up to this point, we really didn't have a good model that we could trust. I think now we're at that point. So now is really the next month or so, couple months is when we're really going to start looking at the engineering solutions. So whatever they're proposing, then you analyze it and see what the impact is on not just 836, but 14th Street, 37th Avenue, and then 21st. So it's as a network overall.
Madam Chair, if I could.
You're recognized.
Thank you. So to Claudio's point, we have worked very hard to get a model that reflects the existing conditions from the Miami Freedom Park team. We think we're there. We're reviewing that model right now. It's very important for us to have a model that collectively all of the agencies and stakeholders can support and stand behind, because that model will tell us what conditions we have to address. So once we have the existing conditions calibrated, and once we know how many trips are going to be generated by this stadium and the development associated with it, then we'll know what those impacts are, and we can start talking mitigation strategies. And so that's kind of the next milestone that we're at with MFP and the rest of the stakeholder agencies. It's a very important milestone because that'll set the track with respect to what mitigation strategies, what improvements are going to be required of the development team, both in the interim and potentially in an ultimate build-out phase. So I think the next month or so is critical to understanding exactly what we're going to be looking at.
I have a follow-up question.
You're recognized, board member Cancio.
So I'm a little confused. Why do they have surveyors on our property? Like, who authorized them to be here since they've never asked us or shown us anything? I mean, who authorized them to be doing that if the board has never even considered or talked about allowing the pedestrian bridge?
So we gave them permission to come in for the simple reason that when they presented the alignment, and really what it was just a line on a piece of paper coming through our parking lot. They asked us to see if there was any fatal flaws of whether we would do it. We gave them two major conditions that if we wouldn't even present it to the board for consideration, provided that they would not touch any parking spaces. We have an issue about our certificate of occupancy in terms of we cannot reduce the amount of parking. We're already limited as such. So we said if we are ever going to look at it, even consider it, the piers and the foundations would have to be outside of the parking lot. So in order for them to come up with some sort of concept, they had to have surveyors. There was a point in time where the surveyor came in here without permission and we addressed that issue. We subsequently gave them permission just to survey. So they didn't mark anything. They just literally came and take survey marks. So we're expecting that on Friday, we're going to see some sort of rendering of where it could be. Because for them, they don't even know engineering-wise whether they could have even done it unless they took some sort of minimal survey points. So we allowed them to do it. We'll bring back to the board what the results are from Friday's meeting.
But are they considering any other location for the pedestrian bridge?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we've been discussing is about we want to see what are the alternatives, right? Clearly, GMX is the straightest shot, but it's not the only way to come across, right? We have the Sheraton parking lot that they're very eager to have the bridge come through their garage because obviously they have direct access. You also have Tropic Supply, which is right next door to us, and then ultimately 21st. So we want to make sure that they're evaluating all the alternatives, just like a normal study that you would do in engineering. You have different alternatives, and then ultimately you pick the best one. If GMX is the best one, we want to know why, and we want to make sure that they evaluate all the other alternatives.
And would that be like an easement over our property? Are they going to pay us for that, or how does that work?
I don't think we're there yet. But yes, it would most likely be an easement. The bridge would most likely belong to Miami-Dade County because it would be connecting the Metro Rail and the Metro Mover. However, the MIC belongs to FDOT.
Any additional comments?
I think they're going to need to have rights over the property. What that looks like, whether it's an easement or some sort of a fee type of acquisition is yet to be determined if it does indeed come through the GMX property. I think to the point of the survey work, I think that's just good due diligence. I think that in order for them to actually convince GMX that this is the only solution they have, they're going to need to do some engineering. And they need to do some analysis in order to do that. And without survey, it's really going to be something that's not tied to anything real. So I would say I wouldn't be too focused on the survey work that was done. I think, again, the meeting coming up on Friday with respect to them telling us this is the only solution we have or we have other solutions we need to explore, I think that's the key.
And I have a question. In the meeting, who are the players that are who are the parties to the meeting?
So Miami-Dade County will be present, and so will City of Miami. So both the city manager, Art Noriega, and from the county it would be Jamie Morales, and then there's the slew of consultants that go behind and the internal staff that are all involved in the process.
And the developer, right?
And the developer, MFP, of course.
Okay.
All right, any additional comments from the board? All right, next on the agenda are informational items. There's no board action required. The only item this month is the GMX procurement report. Are there any questions on this item?
There's also a financial report in the folder as an informational item. It was just,
Okay.
yeah, it should be there with the,
And let's not forget Fitch.
yeah, Madam Chair, no, just really quickly, I'd like to just point out one final thing is that I'd like to highlight the fact that another piece of good news for the agency was the Fitch ratings report that came out earlier this month. We had an upgrade up to an A- bond rating, and we think that's fantastic news for the agency. So once again, I think it's a good indication of how hard our team has been working And I just wanted to congratulate them, and I think it's a piece of good news that going along with the MRP scores, I wanted to just bring to the board's attention.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you.
Lastly, announcements. The next governing board meeting will take place on October
Madam
9th.
Chair,
Oh, sorry, board member Pages.
I have a couple of random things. On the $5 million for the closing for the aviation, I want to make sure we follow traditional closing escrow processes. I don't want to close unless we have the $5 million on our hands. I
So
don't
it's
want the $5
written
million.
into the contract?
Huh?
It's written into the contract. We cannot close unless that money is paid
In our possession.
in our possession.
Okay, very good.
And cashed.
Well, I don't know about
Cleared.
But definitely in our possession. And by the way, the account only works by checks. There's
Yeah, I
no
know.
wire transfer, so.
Which is,
So, but we have physical, someone has physical, of the check, right?
Yeah, so last time Sandy actually personally went and picked it up and was walking around with an $8 million check. So I'm happy she's all here. But yeah, moving forward, before we close on parcel 169, 216, and 193, those three parcels, but specifically 169A and B are the ones that are tied.
Very good.
So the idea is that the board, the county commission will approve both of those simultaneously.
Very good. I'd like to commend also, the team, the entire team for the engineering side, for the financial side, the improvement. That's phenomenal. We've got now great news on the two most important part, the engineering and the financial. So I think we're in great shape, and now we have a new financial advisor, which is going to help us move all that forward. So we're in good shape. Tied to that, and tied to my earlier motion of tabling item B. Madam Chair, I'd like you to consider setting a schedule over the next couple of months for workshops on the Kendall Parkway. I think it's an item we need to address. We need to deal with it. There are a number of very important items around the county, in all parts of the county, in the north, in the central, the Freedom Tower. These are all issues that are pending, really, us reviewing the total size of our work plan. And the Kendall Parkway is a big part of that. So if as a board, we can take a position, we can move forward, not move forward, whatever we want to do is fine. But I think we need to address it sooner rather than later and not continually kick that can down the road on this issue. So at your discretion, if you can work on setting workshops, would appreciate it.
point well taken, and I'll discuss with Mr. Garcia.
The final item is I just want to make aware of the board. I've asked General Counsel to look at our land acquisition policy. I'm not sure, I don't know if it's aligned or not aligned with state law, but I want to make sure that when we acquire properties, that we know who the beneficial owner of the property is. Not 5 layers of LLCs and then we don't know who the So the disclosure of the beneficial owner in the acquisition, I think is an important part of transparency, and I think it's a cornerstone of how we should operate and should function as an agency. So I've asked that to look at. It's not an item for tonight, but for today, and it might be a couple of months from now, but I just want to make sure that I let my fellow board members know that that's an item that the General Counsel is working on.
Thank you, Board Member Pages. Any additional comments? All right, going back to announcements. So the next governing board meeting will be October 9th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
Madam Chair,
Oh, go ahead. Board Member Peterman, you're recognized.
about the next meeting
Yeah.
in October, I have a conflict that day.
Okay.
And if I'm going to be out of town, I'm actually going to be on a plane. And if I had faith in the Wi-Fi on the plane, I'd participate. But I
Via
don't
Zoom.
always have faith in the Wi-Fi on the plane.
hear
So
you.
if there's any chance that we can reschedule that meeting, maybe for one of the days earlier in that week, I think that's the 9th. So 6, 7, or 8 would be ideal. So I don't know if there's no appetite for it, then I'll just have to miss it. But if there's a way that we can reschedule it so I can participate, that'd be ideal.
Okay, I'll follow up with Mr. Garcia so we can look at the calendar. Also at 10 a.m. today, right after this meeting, the GMX Executive Director Search Committee will meet. Anyway, just want to welcome back the kids to school in the spirit of a high, what is it, MRP score, right? And, we continue to have safe roadways and efficient systems. So I know some kids started yesterday, but making sure we keep our roadways safe for our kids. So welcome back, kids, to school. board members, or any questions, announcements, staff direction, or final comments before we adjourn? All right, hearing no additional comments, I adjourn this meeting at 9:40 a.m. Thank you, board members. The meeting is adjourned.